Good morning, sixth grade. Happy Tuesday. It is October 20th, 2020. This video is going to be your instructions for the rest of the week. If you'll notice when I get to the workflow that your assignments besides CNN 10 are all posted for the week. CNN does not get released until the night before, so I have not put them all up yet, but I will put them up the night before. But everything else I'm going to go through in this video so that you understand what to do. And then if you have any questions come Friday in our Zoom lesson, you can ask me then. Couple of announcements. If you were a part of the winning Jeopardy group from October 2nd, and I do apologize that I'm quite a bit late getting it out, but better late than never, right? If you were a part of the winning Jeopardy groups, I believe there were 3 for sixth grade, you should have received something in your email for you to go shopping for your rewards in your goodie bag. If you have not yet submitted that to me, please do so. And our quizzes, lesson 1 reward winners were posted today. Remember, I said I was going to give rewards to the students who played quizzes, that there would be a winner for the most games played, the highest accuracy percentage, and the highest accuracy score. So Maddox Mayberry won most games played by playing 5 games. Highest accuracy percentage, Savannah. I apologize, that is misspelled. I will fix that. Savannah and Maddox both scored 100%. And Maddox had the highest accuracy score with a total of 94,950. Congratulations. So you will get extra goodies in your goodie bag. So make sure you fill out that form twice. Thank you, Alicia, for the words of encouragement to our friends. All right, so we're going to go to the workflow, and I hope you guys like the new layout. I'm so into my Bitmoji right now, loving it. So we're going to go into the workflow. And as I said, you will notice that most of the things for the week are clickable. Can you tell I love my Bitmoji? My goodness, I'm a little obsessed. All right, so not sure why that's highlighted. That's interesting. Okay. So Mondays are always Makeup Mondays. It will take you to the previous workflow, which you should have done today to make sure that you've got all of this done. Don't forget there was up to 25 points of extra credit opportunity. And you can do the Junior Scholastic and as many times as you want to get the best score. That's what I take as the best score. But let's talk about the rest of the week. Now, the only thing that's not posted yet is the study guide notes because I want to go through these 3 activities before I post these on Thursday. So you have your CNN 10 for Monday and Tuesday posted, and your Junior Scholastic for the week is posted with the killer flu of 1918, where they look at that flu and compare it to the coronavirus that we are dealing with today. But the first activity for today, for Tuesday, is AAOAA. That is the acronym we use for our geographic inquiry lesson. So we're going to click on this. You have 2 simple instructions. View the Google Slides and complete the Google Doc attached, filling in the blanks. Okay, I have a question mark here because inquiring means to ask. So once you click on the dark blue link here, it's going to open up Google Slides. And this is a PowerPoint lesson that I would normally share in class. Now, typically I would go through slide by slide. But what you're going to do is you're going to go through these slides and fill in the blanks that I have given to you. Okay. So if we go back to Canvas, let me switch my account real quick. You do not have to do this because you are logged in as a student and will have access to it. Mine does not. So here's my Google assignment. It says open to attach and submit. So if I open this, it's going to open yet another tab. and I can click on this link in order to edit it. And it's going to make a copy that's got my name in front of it. Now you'll notice that there are these blanks. The blanks are what you're going to be looking for in this PowerPoint for you to fill in. Now it's going to go, I should say, from slide 1 to 11, and I will adjust that. But you're going to fill in the blanks starting from here and filling in the blanks. So here's the first step. Ask geographic questions. So what I would do is I would go in and I would delete the box and type over it. Ask geographic questions. How do we do that? Ask where, what, blank, and so what. Ask where, what, why. So again, I would go and get rid of my blank and type in my answer. And I would just do that for the following steps. The second half of this PowerPoint is an example. So we have these 5 steps. We have ask, acquire, organize, analyze, and answer. Essentially, we're trying to solve a problem, and these are the steps that we go through to solve a problem. So if we look at the location of the Aral Sea, which is right here in Asia, I'm going to show you 2 pictures. This photo was taken of the Aral Sea in 2000, and this was taken in 2012. Notice that notice that the sea is less of a sea. There's not as much blue and green, indicating that the water is evaporating, drying up, something is going on. So here's our geographic problem that we need to attempt to solve. So our first step is asking geographic questions, specifically about this sea. So some examples of some questions we could ask are, what is causing the Aral Sea to dry up? And what effect is this having on people and the environment? Are people relying on this water for drinking water, for cooking, for cleaning? What are they doing in the meantime? The next step would be to acquire geographic information. So what kind of information or data or paperwork could we collect in order to help answer these questions? Some examples would be, we could look at satellite images taken over time, photographs of the area taken at ground level, interviews with people who live in the area, water samples from the Aral Sea. Maybe there's some kind of bacteria or an animal that is causing the water to dry up and messing with the ecosystem. Different types of maps in the area, and information regarding a similar problem with a body of water in a different part of the world. So maybe this is happening somewhere else with a similar type of body of water. These are all examples of information that we could gather or acquire in order to help us solve our questions. So once we ask our questions and we acquire or gather our information, our next step is to organize it. What is the best way to organize all of this information so that it makes sense for us to interpret? We could create overlays of satellite images showing change over time. We could put water sample data into tables or graphs. You could create a written summary of interviewed data, draw diagrams showing how the size of the sea has changed, or create a map synthesizing the information from all the maps collected. Now that we have our information organized, how can we analyze it or understand it or try to make sense of it? We could look and try to establish or determine when the drying up began. We could compare the Aral Sea data with that of another body of water with a similar problem. We could identify potential causes of the problem that show up on maps or aerial photographs. We could study the kinds of chemicals that show up in the water samples and look for patterns that may exist in the interview data. Now we can try and answer our question. We can try and draw conclusions from the data and prepare a written report supporting the conclusions. So the goal is to get from asking the question, which is all the way back here, first step, and trying to answer it. Don't be frustrated with this information because this is an example. I'm going to give you an example of something that's a little bit closer to home that would help you understand better these 5 steps. But this was just an example that I wanted to go through. So the 5 steps are as follows: ask, acquire, organize, analyze, and answer. So once you have done filling out this sheet, remember you're going to fill in all the blanks, okay? And there are 2 pages. The last step's on the second page. The beauty of Google is it automatically saves. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to click submit, and it's going to ask one more time if I want to submit my work with the attachment, and I'm going to click submit. And now my work is submitted. Your assignment is submitted and ready for your instructor to review. Da-da-da! Fabulous. Okay. Now going back to Canvas, this was Tuesdays. Now, if we look at Wednesdays, you'll see that I have given you the Flint water crisis, part 1 and part 2. We're going to use our AAOAA geographic inquiry strategy with those 5 steps to try and come up with an answer or answers to the problem we are currently dealing with, which is the Flint water crisis. So if you open up part 1 on Wednesday, here are your instructions. Watch this BBC documentary on Our World, The Poisoning of Flint. This documentary actually features current and former students of WPA and their families. Answer the following questions below. So this is a discussion. You will have to click in the reply box in order to type and post your reply. This is, I believe, a 25, 30-minute video. That woman right there that's in the preview is actually a former mother of 2 of my students. I taught her sons, Christian and Cole, who are now in high school. And there might be some faces in here that you recognize, which is why I use this video every year, because these are our friends, these are our families, these are community. But you have these 6 questions that I want you to answer in the box below, and I would prefer it if you kind of laid it out like A, B, C, etc., if you can. So A, tell me 3 things you learned about the Flint water crisis from the video. B, have you, your friends, or your family been affected by the Flint water crisis? C, how has your life, your friend's life, or your family's life changed since this water crisis? D, what are some things you have to do differently now? E, if you could write to the president about the situation, what are some things you would like to say to him in hopes he would send more help to fix the water crisis? And F, if you were in charge of a committee that was assigned to the job of solving the crisis, what are 3 things you would do in order to bring back clean water? So that's part 1. Part 2 is another video from PBS Nova called Poisoned Water. This one is about an hour, and it's a documentary on PBS. This made like real TV, okay? Because this is a huge deal. This has been going on for way too long, 5, 6 years, I believe. So you're going to watch this documentary, and you're going to complete the Google Doc on AAOAA Flint water crisis. So as you can see, we've got another open to attach and submit. So I'm going to open this up. It's going to open up a second tab, and I'm going to click on the assignment. And up here, I've just kind of given you a little preview of the problem, which you are very familiar with, about the Flint water crisis leading to contamination, pipes issues, etc. So you are going to go through and answer these questions based on our 5 steps. So with the Flint water crisis in mind, I want you to think about these 5 steps. What is the main question the committee needs to answer? And you just type your answer in the box. What are some pieces of information the committee should acquire or gather in order to answer the question? Again, type your answer in the box. How should you organize it, etc., and so forth, until you go through the 5 steps. When you are done, come back here and click submit twice, and it will be submitted. So those are your 3 assignments for the next 3 days before we get our lesson number 2 study guide notes. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me. Other than that, happy double A-ing.